beings are equal in the sight of God.
Oh, I'm doing
All
okay.
human beings deserve respect and compassion.
I just got into
This
some of
is
the
our
ACLU
unwavering
guys.
belief.
They defended
We
Van
are
Gogh against the
alarmed by first
this is hanging in my door.
and video footage which shows a disproportionately aggressive police response to constitutionally protected gatherings of public residents. We were especially dismayed by the police response to peaceful gatherings on October 12th and January 20th, and began on February 20th, when police charged into crowds of demonstrators standing on the sidewalk, dragging them into the street and swinging their batons like baseball bats. We are appalled to learn of the nature of the weapons used against those exercising their First Amendment rights, specifically the use of Stinger grenades, saber red pepper spray, kinetic impact projectiles, and tear gas. We are deeply concerned by the lack of communication from the Portland Police Bureau regarding the weapons used at demonstrations. Despite police protocols, which require the police department to report the use of these types of weapons to emergency medical services personnel, medical responders are regularly uninformed about the use of chemical agents and munitions. We find it unacceptable that Portland police officers are singling out and targeting street medics who are working to treat and manage the injuries caused by Portland public police officers. Prompt and competent care of injured parties is critical. Disruption of medical support infrastructure at protests increases the risk of serious injury and death. We are extremely concerned by the psychological and moral toll such police behavior is taking on those who march peaceably and on those who witness this police behavior. We are also gravely worried by its effect on those police who are asked to perpetrate this kind of behavior. We call upon the mayor to immediately ban the use of grenades, tear gas, kinetic impact projectiles, and saber red in crowd control situations. We call upon the mayor to ban the use of launchers for gas canisters. We call upon the mayor to demand that the police respond to unpermitted marches or rallies the same way they respond to permitted marches, by protecting demonstrators from traffic and respecting the exercise of citizens' First Amendment rights. The Constitution of the United States protects the right to free speech and lawful peaceful assembly. And the procurement of an arbitrary and expensive permit should not be the difference between friendly officers on bikes in pink hats and hundreds of heavily armored officers carrying weapons and lobbing grenades.
That quick.
Someone get a picture.
That quick.
We call upon the mayor to uphold the principles of justice, public morality, and essential human dignity inherent in every human being.
They got zip ties.
On behalf of all Portland residents, we invite the mayor to consider our concerns as covering those of any sane civil society. Portland can do better. Portland must do better to respect each individual life, each individual who deserves to be safe and respected and secure. As clergy, we believe that love your neighbor as yourself means
Didn't call him in. You sure?
whatever is
He was on the
hateful to
phone,
you,
or he was on the radio.
do
Right,
not
but he
do
didn't
to
call him in.
another
They'd be
human
flying over
being.
here if he did.
Bless
They always
all
set
of
up
you.
a couple hours early.
Stay safe
Sit down there and
today.
park their vehicles
Do your
and talk
best
about
to
what's
watch
going on.
out
Yeah, but see,
for
when we
each
were over
other.
there and we were talking to Sanders, he was
Amen.
like, he was getting on his radio and he was like, I need some help and I need some help now.
Yeah.
So I
Well, not
They would have been over here a long time ago.
I've
seen
they had to suit up and shit too.
Let's not
So
forget
Yeah, I've
that
seen
the
them.
mayor is still
They're already
the police
suited up.
Commissioner, something he has admitted himself is in conflict. So, thank you very much, Rabbi. Our next speaker is Ms. Donna Hayes.
What they do is they suit up at
I think
North.
she needs no
They
introduction.
suit up at North Tracy and drive over here in cars. And one of them brings the riot van over from southeast. And then that's where then down here they get up on the trucks and stuff like that.
Hi, I am the grandmother of Quantas Hayes, who we call Moose. Moose was unarmed and murdered by Andrew Hurd. I usually start off my speeches with the explanation why I call you comrades. Comrades is a companion who shares one activity, and our activity today is police brutality. Anti-police brutality sounds like a mouthful. Let us first understand what we are talking about. Anti is to oppose, and brutality is savage, physical violence, great cruelty. The word police is the civil force of a national or a local government responsible for the prevention and detention of crime and the maintenance of public order. With these definitions, let me clear something else up. The word serve and protect. I hear that quite a bit from a lot of people. Okay. The Los Angeles Police Department conducted a contest for a memo and to try to get something to uplift their cadets. And the winning entry was the motto, to protect and to serve, submitted by Officer John S. Dorbeck. So we let you know that serve and protect is just a motto. It is not something they do. Now that serve and protect is off the table, now you don't have to believe that is their job. Also, I bet you didn't know that legally they don't have to protect you. If you don't believe me, check out the case of Warren versus the District of Columbia. It'll show you that they don't have to protect you. What I first said was like the sugary ideas of what the police is supposed to do. What do you need to remember is that they work for the national and local government. They direct them and we pay their salary. Let's get a good understanding of anti-police brutality. It is to oppose the civil forces of the national and local government who savagely, physically violent and has great cruelty. And we pay their salary. So since they belong to the government and we pay their salary, we might need to go to the government to ask them to stop their henchmen from savagely, physically violent and great cruelty that we pay their salaries for. I work for and with an amazing group called the Pacific Northwest Family Circle, headed by Irene Kalanji, whose child was riddled with bullets and left to bleed out on the floor. That is just the top of the organization. There is more. A child was killed by cops on a parking garage and labeled as suicide. Another child shot by cops and said to have 2 knives despite the witnesses saying otherwise. Another child was killed 37 seconds after the arrival of the brothers cops. Yes, they were brothers, you know, like the mother, they had share the same mother or same father or same or both. How about the ones running scared in a homeless shelter and cops executed him military style? Remember, they are all the civil forces of national and local government who savage physical violence and great cruelty, and we pay their salary. I have asked so many people this question, and I'm going to ask you all. Is this system broken or is it by design?
Broken. By design.
I'm going to say by design. Everyone remember Hitler from the history books? He was the government, and he had a police force called the SS, and the people of Germany paid their salaries too. They received military training, and has anyone seen John Elefrit's execution? Didn't that look sort of military-ish to you? How about this? The riot police. They wear military gear for sure. Some of the SS was Hitler's personal bodyguard. And what you think Trump is doing by telling the civil forces of national and local government who used savage physical violence and great cruelty that we pay their salaries, and he got their backs and give them more military gear. Speaking of military gear, I'm bad with people's names, so I'm gonna spell out his name. First name is Remy, and it's S-A-B-B-E of Tiger. They drove a tank on his property. What the hell do you think they need a tank for? What about old Small Bend, Oregon? They got a grenade launcher. Answer me, is there a drug cartel in that area? That's the only reason why I can see that they have a grenade launcher. There's in this very sleepy little town. Tell me, ain't our government getting a force to keep the citizens in line? We pay their salary? The more I look at I see SS, and guess what, black people, brown people, natives? They're the ones that are gathering in mass numbers and being shot on the street. That seemed like an SS move to me. So my fellow comrades who oppose civil forces of national and local government who use savage physical violence and great cruelty that we pay their salaries, what are you doing?
Resist. Revolt.
I'm not employed, so I'm gonna let y'all know I'm not paying their salaries. But I do vote. I'm looking for a new regime. So yeah, everybody, I want y'all to know that Rod Underhand is out of here 2020. I post pictures of dead loved ones on electrical poles. If you come out in North Portland, in my area, you'll see it. That's what I do. I was doing it this morning. On my way to pick up this t-shirt, I posted a poster. So these are the things I do. I go to city council meetings, voice my opinion. I go to meetings of organizations I'm a part of in which we gather that we're willing to work together and join forces. I stand out once a month in front of the DA's office or police station and tell them just how I feel, where they are going, and just like a lot of cities, they do that same thing across this country. I talk to anyone that will listen. Did you know I had a scary conversation with the police union rep? I was not the one that was scared. It was him. He kept asking me, where's my lawyer? I can't talk to you without your lawyer. I calmed him down. I told him my daughter is suing the city, not me. But comrades, what are you doing to oppose the civil forces of national and local government who use savage physical violence and great cruelty that you pay. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. So up next, we have somebody that owed me a favor. And
So when
I
you get
cannot
out
wait
of
to
jail?
hear his story.
Huh?
And it's Eli
When you get out of
DeSheriff.
jail?
Where are you?
10 o'clock this morning.
Alright. So you gotta go back to court or something?
No.
So, what was the, is that little charge ad in Clackamas?
Yeah.
You just have to do a day or two or something?
Yeah, just 48 hours.
Well, that works, at least that case is done.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the moment it fully hit me